welcome. Today we're unpacking a digital mystery that honestly reads like a true crime thriller. But the scary part? Every single detail we're about to go through is 100% real. We're looking at the anatomy of a highly sophisticated mobile banking hack, a fake loan scam that literally devastated a family. We're going to see how fraudsters completely bypass traditional security, not by hacking a bank's mainframe, but by hacking human psychology. We'll look at the timeline, the bait, the tech they used, and that chilling moment the victim realized what was actually going down. If you've ever used your phone for banking, which, let's be real, is pretty much all of us, you absolutely need to see how this works.
Okay, let's dive right into this. 4.54 lakh rupees. In just a matter of hours, that staggering amount of money vanished. Poof. Now, for a lot of hardworking families out there, we're talking about years of life savings, emergency funds, completely wiped out in the blink of an eye. When we talk about cybercrime, it's so easy to get bogged down on all the technical jargon, malware, data packets, the whole shebang. But this number right here, this grounds us. This is pure financial ruin inflicted on a real person in a single afternoon.
And that brings us to the human element of all this. The target wasn't some reckless billionaire or a massive corporation with deep pockets. The victim was just a 36-year-old guy working at a gems firm in Bhatnagar, living over in Sarspur with his wife and 2 minor kids. And honestly, the most critical detail here, the exact vulnerability the scammers exploited, is that he was in a tight spot. He just needed some extra cash. It's an everyday, highly relatable situation, right? Scammers absolutely prey on this kind of financial anxiety. They know for a fact that when you're stressed about providing for your family, your guard drops. You're just way more open to throwing a lifeline no matter who's tossing it.
So, this entire nightmare unfolded at literally terrifying speed on a single day, January 18th. It started innocently enough, right? A morning phone call from a guy claiming to be from a finance company offering a quick online loan. Since the victim really needed the cash, he agreed. And here is where they sink the hook. The loan amount actually got credited to his bank account through an agent shortly after, like they gave him real money. But the trap was already set. By the afternoon, he gets a second call. This time, the caller offers a little favor, a reduction in his monthly EMI. To process it, they tell him, oh, just download this quick file. By the time the sun went down, that APK was downloaded and his device was totally compromised. The sheer speed of this, from first contact to total control, that's what makes it so incredibly dangerous.
And this brilliantly illustrates the exact playbook of the modern cybercriminal. It's a masterclass in social engineering. Step 1, you establish authority. They pose as a legit finance company. Step 2, build undeniable trust. They actually disperse an initial loan. Think about it. If someone hands you cash, you're going to trust them, right? Step 3, create an irresistible offer. Who wouldn't want their EMI reduced? It sounds like stellar customer service. And then finally, step 4, deliver the payload. They send a malicious APK file directly over WhatsApp, completely bypassing the secure official app stores. It's calculated, it's patient, and yeah, it's devastatingly effective.
Moving on to Section 1, the setup, a fake loan.
There is such a stark contrast here between the bait and the trap. The bait, of course, was that genuine-seeming loan disbursement. When that actual money hit his account, any skepticism he had probably just vanished completely. It solved a real, immediate problem for him. He probably felt this massive wave of relief. But, guys, that relief was weaponized. It paved the way perfectly for the trap, that follow-up call. The scammers essentially used the goodwill they'd just bought to lower his defenses. They manufactured this totally fake administrative process, the EMI reduction, just to justify why he needed to download their specific file instead of using the normal Google Play Store. They knew he wouldn't question it because, well, he thought he was already doing business with a legit company.
So the crucial point is really understanding the weapon they used here. What exactly is an APK file? Well, an APK, or Android Package Kit, is just the file format Android uses to install apps. But when someone shoots it to you directly via WhatsApp, like in this case, it hasn't been vetted by any official security scans at all. Zero. The fraudsters sent a malicious app totally disguised as an EMI processing tool. The exact second the victim tapped install, he unknowingly handed this rogue app deep permissions into his phone's operating system. This let the hackers remotely control the device, grab one-time passwords, and silently siphon money right out of his banking apps without him getting a single alert. Crazy, right?
Let's get into Section 2, frozen phone, empty account.
I want you to just put yourself in his shoes for a second and imagine this exact moment. He taps the file on WhatsApp. He's probably expecting a basic form, maybe a confirmation screen, but instead,
His mobile phone completely stops functioning. It just freezes. The buttons do nothing. The touchscreen is completely dead. And then, this single ominous message locks out the entire screen. EMI file is being processed. It is such a brilliant, evil piece of misdirection. While the victim is just staring at this screen thinking, okay, the company is updating my loan file. The hackers are actually behind the scenes using the access he just gave them to frantically drain his bank accounts. The phone isn't processing an EMI at all. It's locked down specifically to prevent him from stopping the theft. And as the minutes ticked by, you can imagine the panic starting to set in. We can honestly call this the panic protocol. The process was taking way too long and suspicion was growing. In a desperate and actually really smart move, the victim's wife pulled the SIM card right out of the phone to cut the connection. But man, the scammer was ready for this. The caller aggressively warned them that pulling the SIM meant the whole process would restart from scratch. And here is the ultimate manipulation. He threatened that his company wouldn't be responsible if any extra money was deducted because of their interference. Out of sheer terror of losing money to some glitch, they caved. They reinserted the SIM card, and immediately, bam, that same terrifying message popped right back up. They were entirely outmaneuvered by the psychological pressure. Eventually, that feeling of dread just became too much to handle. The couple physically left their house and rushed to a nearby ATM just to check their balance, probably praying their gut feeling was wrong, but it wasn't. This quote captures that devastating realization perfectly. To our shock, the entire amount of Rs 4.54 lakh was withdrawn from my account through online transactions. Every single rupee. In the time they spent staring at that frozen screen and arguing with the scammer about the SIM card, the hackers had completely emptied their accounts. Just like that, the entire financial safety net for this family of 4 was gone.
Which brings us to Section 3, the cybercrime investigation.
To his credit, the victim immediately took the right steps here. He reached straight out to the cybercrime helpline and lodged a formal FIR, a first information report at the Shaharkhorda police station in Ahmedabad. And the police officially confirmed exactly what we've been walking through today. The phone was undeniably hacked using that fake, side-loaded app, which gave the attackers everything they needed to steal the funds. Now, an active investigation is underway to trace the digital footprints, identify the caller, and hopefully track down the whole network of fraudsters pulling the strings on this setup. But, as we see with so many of these cybercrimes, recovering those stolen funds is incredibly tough once it's been bounced around multiple online channels.
So I want to leave you all with a bit of a provocative question to chew on. If a seemingly trusted company, maybe even someone who literally just gave you a refund or a loan, send a file directly to your phone right now via WhatsApp or SMS, are you absolutely sure it's safe? This explainer really drives home that trust is by far the biggest vulnerability in our digital armor. Never, ever download apps from outside the official app stores, no matter how convincing the story on the other end of the line happens to be. Stay vigilant, question absolutely everything that asks for access to your device, and protect your digital life. Thank you so much for joining me to break down this case, and for more such content, subscribe to the Paisa Files channel. Stay safe out there.